about 30, 32 feet there. We went through 4 different locations with 4 different heights, ranging from about 15 feet down to about 32 feet. It's interesting, we came back about 3-4 weeks later, which is, I think, was it 3 Fridays ago, Commissioner? About 3 Fridays ago, and we noticed that the water table actually dropped down a foot from where it was. It was an interesting location. The general strata was, as we were thinking, it was going to be mostly a sandy loam soil condition. We came back 2 weeks ago and we dug the test pit locations. It was interesting to find that location B1, we went an average of 4 feet and 52 inches on the 3 test pits we did a few Fridays ago. Test pit location 1 didn't bear anything like the boring samples. All 4 locations originally showed us more of that sandy loam soil, but when you actually dug down in the corner where we're having the biggest problems, it's actually mostly clay down there, which is showing from what photographs you have there. What was also interesting is the foundation system. Believe it or not, the center of that photograph that you see here, that is basically, we're down to about 4 feet here where the hole was taken. That center sort of area, that is the foundation system they have. And as one of the ladies of the geotechnical company said, it looks like the foundation has become one with the earth. And it really hasn't. These little tiny bumps you see here, here, and here, that is all that's basically left of the foundation system. It looks like when they dug it, they basically dug a trench. They took rubble they had that was basically made up of the same brick they used for the actual construction, stood in the earth, mixed it with mortar, and that was the foundation bed. That's the existing to it. So you can go then, and on the test pit locations on the locations 2 and 3 on the north side of the building, you can basically, it's sandy loam, you can basically pull it out with your fingers. And you can, if you've got pretty strong grip, it'll basically crush in your hand. So our original intention to take those brick samples and have them tested, I think that's a waste of time. Not have any compressor strength at all. What we have done is we contacted recently from our structural engineers, who's also working on the Carles County Courthouse. The house was made of the same brick. Because they were ahead of us in the investigative game, 2 or 3 years ahead of us, he's been doing loading requirements that they're estimating what that wall would need in the same construction methodology that we have here in Wilson County. So that gives us a good comparative data source to find out what's our next step. We're actually meeting on site tomorrow morning with a sub-consultant, the geotechnical people that are coming in to look at doing some more investigative studies. They did an original meeting with us about 3 months ago when we actually put the building together. They do specialists on brick testing, prison testing, and things like that of wall loading bearing. They're coming tomorrow morning. We're meeting with them. But what we're looking at doing is only the structural engineer, our architect's office, the geotechnical engineers, and the specialty testing. They're really more of a waterproofing testing company, but they have experience across the geotechnical through specialized testing of conditions like this. So we'll start discussing what we think they're doing as a plan of attack to rectify this. What is apparent from the test pit that we dug, that Commissioner testified, there's some real surprises there in terms of old clay-lined pipes that have been abandoned that no one even knew we had there, which could be a contributing factor to some of the swelling and the settlement they've had in recent and past years. It's a good possibility that the reason that line was abandoned was because there was a fracturing issue. It happens to be in a worse location in a clay soil. It has been leaching into soil for a number of years with a foundation system that basically is not a foundation system. There's no reason, there's a reason why it's been, we've had heaving and movement issues. We're also trying to find out, because I mean, no one seemed to realize, or we didn't even realize there was going to be a PVC drain line there adjacent to the abandoned one. So what we're looking at doing is, I think we need to have a thorough investigation of the plumbing systems to and from that building. Even some of the lines think we were going to logically be going one direction with the remaining other solid vent systems they have in the building are running in different directions. So I think we need to go do a really in-depth study to find out what lines are there, So at least we have a map and know what we're doing. And then we're going to have to come up with an approach of stabilizing this foundation system. I've talked with the geotechnical engineer on this, of creating a tanking system around to try and prevent any further moisture intrusion towards that. That's still not going to affect and help our existing foundation system, because obviously the brick is just getting softer and softer as the years and decades go on. So we're going to put our collective minds together tomorrow and over the next week to come up with a system we think that we can somewhat prevent and provide an underpinning to help stabilize this settlement. The good thing is now we have, between the borings that we have and the observing, which is why it's so important to have those test pits, we actually have a visual kind of record to see. It's interesting that we hadn't done the test pits, we would never have known about that around there. So it's good that we followed protocol and did our usual due diligence, even though one test methodology showed one thing, when you look at it visually, it's amazing to see what we're doing on the other. Generally, this old foundation system goes down between 36 to 48 inches around the building. Though that you can see there was on the north side building where we had, there had been some contributions in the past, but even that's the one side to stabilise where it was settling before. But we'll have a better idea over the next week. What I'm going to try and do to the court is regularly update the next couple of weeks, every week or so, on a regular schedule, just to give you an update of where we're going, and then looking at and providing a final report in the month of September before October 4th.
What method did you use to get this photograph?
I'm sorry?
What method did you use to get the photograph?
Oh, just general. We actually dug trenches alongside and got down in there and just photographed. You can see there's a lot of old lines down there, there's old electrical lines that we have. But we just took essentially just visual photographic data.
Anyone have any questions, comments?
It sounds like it's worse than you had anticipated, is that?
Well, it's more surprising, the system that we had down there. I think on the one side, we're now able to see why we're having settlement on that side, and it's a compounding issue. On that one corner, where there's obviously clay soil, and there was also a reason why that's been heaving and degrading the way it has. And we're glad we found out. It looks like there's some telltale signs over decades why there's been an issue, not only the drainage, but also if there was pipelines that were broken in there. The good thing is, it's one thing to have an idea, but the other thing to have some pretty backed-up proof of what the problem is, and able to tackle it. It would have been a real issue if we'd done test pits around the building and not found anything. We're glad we found it on this corner, because that starts to tell the tale. It was interesting on the, it's easy, I think, to look at people visually, but if you're standing in the front far right corner, the boring that we did, there was a really bad, almost a sewer smell over in where the junction in the new annex happens. We actually took samples of water to have a test of fluoride, chlorine, and fecal matter to see whether there was possibly another breaking line over there. And it actually came back on Friday, there wasn't any. There was a slight upgrade in the fluoride, chlorine virtually zero, but there wasn't any taste of the fecal matter in terms of test matter. Which is surprising considering how bad it smelled. It did smell like a sewer system over there. But there is something definitely going on over there, because there's that green patch. Even when it was dry as a bone, we spoke to maintenance, and there was that green patch that's over about 40 yards out from the corner of the new annex. So there's something going on over there. But what this test bit on this corner has done is that we now know the system we have. We know the foundation system we have, or lack of it. And now it gives us a plan approach to fix it.
You find out that PVC pipe is going for the upstairs.
It is going upstairs. That's all we could figure it could possibly be. That's good. So over the next week we'll have a pilot plan to do things and get that fix that corner and get onto the wall.
Judge, were you in office when the flagpoles were replaced? Or you fixed them? If you look at the flagpoles, they're pretty off.
You know why they're off? That container has sand in it.
Okay.
And it wasn't properly aligned to the reason they're off.
Okay.
It's a container with sand. in the
Oh,
base.
okay, oh, so the base is still firm.
Right.
Okay, I thought maybe that was more heating.
No,
I
it-
know that Phelps had them,
Yeah.
used a plumb line, had them vertical and then put in, but okay. never
It
mind.
has to do with the method they was put in.
Never mind.
So, any questions on that? But just in that, as far as, again, we're looking at trying to wrap the form a little than we originally anticipated. We've got some good data now that we just need to talk with the final sample where we're going to best provide the information for that foundation.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.